The absence of underwriters' laboratories or all label on Watersofteners indicates that they have not been tested and certified. This means they may not meet safety requirements and could pose a fire or electrical hazard. SBT-2 cords are not rated for outdoor use. They are intended for indoor use only and are not resistant to moisture or ultraviolet radiation. Installing them outdoors could lead to electrical shorts, fires, or electrocution. The fact that these Watersofteners are being installed after the final inspection suggests that they are being added as an afterthought, likely without the necessary permits or approvals. This could be a safety concern, as the installation may not have been inspected for compliance with building codes and electrical regulations. Here are some steps to take. Firstly, contact the installer. Inform the installer that the Watersofteners lack UL labels and are being installed with improper cords in unsuitable locations. Request that they rectify the issue immediately. Secondly, notify the authority having jurisdiction, or OJ. Contact the local AHJ, typically the building department or electrical inspector, to report the situation. They can investigate and enforce compliance with codes and regulations. Thirdly, inform the homeowner. Explain the safety concerns to the homeowner and advise them to refrain from using the Watersofteners until they have been inspected and approved. Fourthly, educate other inspectors. Share this information with other inspectors in your jurisdiction to raise awareness and ensure similar issues are not overlooked in the future. Some Watersofteners may have a UL label on the control panel, but this does not mean that the entire unit is UL listed. The label should specifically indicate that the entire unit is certified. It is important to note that UL listing is not required by all jurisdictions, but it is highly recommended as a measure of safety. The use of improper cords or installation in unsuitable locations could void any warranties or insurance coverage. When examining a Watersoftener installation, several key electrical code requirements come into play to ensure safety and compliance. Firstly, the National Electrical Code, or NEC, addresses the proper wiring methods for connecting the Watersoftener to the electrical supply. This includes using the correct type of cable or conduit for the environment, whether it's indoors or outdoors. For outdoor installations, conductors must be suitable for wet locations, as specified in NEC section 310.10. Secondly, overcurrent protection is crucial. The Watersoftener circuit must be protected by a circuit breaker or fuse of the appropriate size, as determined by the appliance's nameplate rating and NEC table 430.52. This protects the equipment and wiring from overload and short circuits. Thirdly, grounding and bonding are essential for preventing electrical shock hazards. The Watersoftener must be properly grounded according to NEC sections 250.110 and 250.112, typically by connecting the equipment grounding conductor to a grounding electrode system. Bonding, as outlined in NEC section 250.92, ensures that all metallic parts of the electrical system are at the same electrical potential, minimizing the risk of shock. Fourthly, receptacle requirements must be met if the Watersoftener is cord and plug connected. Outdoor receptacles must be weather resistant and have an enclosure suitable for wet locations, as per NEC section 406.9. Ground fault circuit interrupter, or GFCI, protection is also required for receptacles installed in damp or wet locations, as stated in NEC section 210.8. Fifthly, the location of the Watersoftener should comply with NEC guidelines. It must be accessible for maintenance and not installed in hazardous locations or where it could be exposed to physical damage. Proper clearances around the equipment must be maintained to allow for adequate ventilation and safe operation, as detailed in NEC section 110.26. Sixthly, wiring connections need to be made securely and with appropriate connectors. All wire connections must be made inside approved enclosures and with connectors listed for the purpose, ensuring reliable and safe electrical connections in accordance with NEC section 110.14. Seventhly, any modifications or alterations to the electrical system must comply with NEC requirements and be performed by qualified personnel. Field modifications should never compromise the safety or integrity of the installation and must be inspected and approved by the AHJ. Some additional factors to consider include the specific requirements for manufactured homes, if applicable, as outlined in NEC Article 550, and any local amendments or regulations adopted by the AHA. Always consult the latest edition of the NEC and local codes to ensure compliance with all applicable requirements for Watersoftener installations. Using an SBT-2 cord outdoors presents several hazards and code violations. SBT-2 cord is a type of thermoplastic parallel cord primarily designed for indoor use in lamps, clocks, and other light-duty applications. Firstly, SBT-2 cord is not rated for outdoor use. Its insulation is not designed to withstand exposure to sunlight, moisture, or extreme temperatures. Prolonged exposure to ultraviolet, or UV, radiation from the sun can cause the insulation to degrade and crack, leading to potential electrical shorts and fire hazards. Secondly, SBT-2 cord lacks moisture resistance. Unlike outdoor-rated cords, SBT-2 cord is not designed to withstand wet conditions. If the cord is exposed to rain, snow, or even damp soil, moisture can penetrate the insulation and cause corrosion of the conductors, increasing the risk of electrical shock and equipment failure. Thirdly, using SBT-2 cord outdoors violates the National Electrical Code, or NEC. NEC Section 400.8 specifically prohibits the use of flexible cords and cables for certain applications, including as a substitute for the fixed wiring of a structure or where attached to building surfaces. NEC Section 400.12 further restricts the use of flexible cords in wet or damp locations unless they are specifically listed for that purpose. Fourthly, the ampacity of SBT-2 cord is limited. SBT-2 cord typically has a lower ampacity rating compared to outdoor-rated cords. Using it to power a Watersoftener, which may draw a significant amount of current, can overload the cord and cause it to overheat, potentially leading to a fire. Fifthly, physical damage is a concern. SBT-2 cord is more susceptible to physical damage than outdoor-rated cords. It can be easily cut, abraded, or crushed, especially when exposed to outdoor elements and foot traffic, increasing the risk of electrical hazards. To ensure safety and code compliance, always use outdoor-rated cords for outdoor applications. These cords are specifically designed to withstand the rigors of outdoor environments and provide reliable electrical connections. When replacing an SBT-2 cord with an outdoor-rated cord, consider the following factors. Firstly, choose the correct type of cord. Select an outdoor-rated cord that is listed for wet locations and suitable for the specific application. Common types of outdoor cords include SJAO, SJU, and SU cords, which are designed to withstand exposure to oil, water, and ozone. Secondly, ensure proper grounding. Make sure the replacement cord has a grounding conductor and that it is properly connected to the equipment grounding terminal. This provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, helping to prevent electrical shock hazards. Thirdly, use weatherproof connections. When connecting the replacement cord to the Watersoftener or other electrical equipment, use weatherproof connectors and enclosures to protect the connections from moisture and corrosion. Fourthly, protect the cord from physical damage. Route the replacement cord in a way that minimizes its exposure to physical damage. Consider using conduit or other protective measures to shield the cord from abrasion, cuts, and crushing. Fifthly, follow manufacturer's instructions. Always follow the manufacturer's instructions for installing and using the replacement cord. This will help ensure that the cord is properly connected and that it operates safely and reliably. Remember to consult with a qualified electrician if you have any questions or concerns about replacing an SBT-2 cord with an outdoor-rated cord. They can help you select the appropriate cord and ensure that it is installed correctly and safely. Regarding the absence of a UL label, Underwriters Laboratories, or UL, listing is a crucial safety certification that indicates a product has been tested and meets specific safety standards. The absence of a UL label on a Watersoftener raises several concerns about its safety and compliance with electrical codes. Firstly, lack of safety testing is a primary concern. UL listing involves rigorous testing to ensure that a product meets established safety standards. Without a UL label, there is no guarantee that the water softener has been tested for electrical safety, fire hazards, or other potential risks. Secondly, non-compliance with standards is another concern. UL standards cover various aspects of product safety, including electrical insulation, grounding, and resistance to environmental factors. A water softener without a UL label may not comply with these standards, potentially posing a safety hazard to users. Thirdly, increased risk of electrical hazards exists. Unlisted water softeners may have design flaws or manufacturing defects that increase the risk of electrical shock, fire, or equipment failure. Without proper testing and certification, these hazards may not be identified and addressed. Fourthly, code violations are possible. Many jurisdictions require electrical equipment to be UL listed or certified by another recognized testing laboratory. Installing a water softener without a UL label may violate local electrical codes and regulations, leading to fines or other penalties. Fifthly, insurance implications can arise. Insurance companies may deny coverage for damages caused by unlisted electrical equipment. If a fire or electrical incident occurs due to a water softener without a UL label, the homeowner may be held liable for the damages. To ensure safety and code compliance, always choose water softeners that are UL listed or certified by another recognized testing laboratory. Look for the UL label on the product and verify that it is valid and applicable to the entire unit, not just a component. If you encounter a water softener without a UL label, contact the manufacturer or supplier to inquire about its safety certifications. If you are unsure about the safety of a water softener, consult with a qualified electrician or electrical inspector. Regarding installation after final inspection, the installation of water softeners after a final inspection raises concerns about compliance with building codes and electrical regulations. Firstly, lack of permits is a potential issue. Installing a water softener typically requires a permit from the local building department or AHA. Permits ensure that the installation meets all applicable codes and regulations. Installing a water softener without a permit is a violation of most built-in codes and can result in fines or other penalties. Secondly, uninspected work is a concern. Final inspections are conducted to verify that all work has been completed in accordance with approved plans and specifications. Installing a water softener after the final inspection means that the work has not been inspected by the AHA, increasing the risk of code violations and safety hazards. Thirdly, potential code violations are likely. Building codes and electrical regulations address various aspects of water softener installations, including wiring methods, overcurrent protection, grounding, and location requirements. Installing a water softener without proper permits and inspections increases the likelihood of code violations, potentially compromising the safety and integrity of the electrical system. Fourthly, safety hazards are increased. Uninspected water softener installations may have hidden safety hazards such as improper wiring connections, inadequate grounding, or lack of overcurrent protection. These hazards can increase the risk of electrical shock, fire, or equipment failure. Fifthly, liability issues can arise. If a water softener is installed without permits or inspections and causes damage or injury, the homeowner may be held liable for the damages. Insurance companies may also deny coverage for losses resulting from unpermitted or uninspected work. To avoid these problems, always obtain the necessary permits before installing a water softener and schedule an inspection with the AHA after the installation is complete. Ensure that all work is performed by qualified personnel and in accordance with applicable codes and regulations. If you are unsure about the permit requirements in your area, contact the local building department or electrical inspector. Regarding informing the homeowner of these issues is crucial for several reasons. Firstly, safety is paramount. Homeowners need to be aware of the potential safety hazards associated with water softeners that lack UL labels and are installed with improper codes or without proper permits and inspections. This knowledge empowers them to take steps to protect themselves and their families from electrical shock, fire, or other dangers. Secondly, liability is a concern. Homeowners may be held liable for damages or injuries resulting from unsafe electrical installations on their property. By informing them of the risks and code violations, you can help them avoid potential legal and financial consequences. Thirdly, code compliance is important. Homeowners have a responsibility to ensure that their property complies with all applicable building codes and electrical regulations. Informing them of the code violations associated with unapproved Watersoftener installations can encourage them to take corrective action and bring their property into compliance. Fourthly, property value is affected. Unsafe or non-compliant electrical installations can negatively impact the value of a home. By informing homeowners of these issues, you can help them protect their investment and maintain the value of their property. Fifthly, peace of mind is valuable. Homeowners deserve to feel safe and secure in their homes. By informing them of the risks associated with unapproved Watersoftener installations, you can help alleviate the concerns and provide them with peace of mind. When informing homeowners of these issues, be sure to explain the potential hazards in clear and concise language. Provide them with documentation of the code violations and recommendations for corrective action. Encourage them to consult with a qualified electrician or electrical inspector to address the issues and ensure their safety.